And hey, guys, welcome back to the one and only DadBods, DadBoss, where the only show where we talk, not the only show, but the show where we talk about, business, health, mindset, well-being, and just being a man in today's world. And we're an amigo short today. Don't know where Mr. High Performance Father is himself. He's just like he's done a runner on us, but you know, we are proud to have Mr. Andean Cock of the Rock here. How are you, Mr. Andean Cock of the Rock?
Now I know you're making names up.
Legit, man, legit. I did like what are the most odd naming birds in the world, and Andean Cock of the Rock was one of them.
Send me a photo. I think I want to be one.
They only live in high, like really extreme environments.
Yeah, Sydney.
How are you, my man?
Very good, mate. Very good. Yeah, back up and running.
Oh, hey, so speaking about back up and running, word on the street is you've gotten back into rugby.
Mate, I have. I've been, I say I have. I've been to a couple of rugby practices. First one just about killed me. But yeah, decided to find a rugby club here and more just to get out and have something to do, you know what I mean? So like I played rugby a little bit back in New Zealand when I was back there. So kind of got the itchy feet again because I hadn't played for about 8 years, I think. I think it was 8 years since I'd last played. So when caught up with a few of the guys back there, started playing, enjoyed it, and thought, well, might as well have a look when I get back here as well. And sure enough, there's a rugby club only 15-minute drive from here. So works out perfect. The Camden Rams, mate, look out.
Camden Rams, nice. Do you mean the Camden Lambs?
Yeah, mate. Well, we'll see. We'll see after the first couple of games.
Oh, mate. And because I used to play for a team out that way as well. And the soccer club that was out there was called the Robins. And Tony, my brother-in-law, every time he'd catch up with me, he'll be like, "Hey, how are the budgies going this week?" Little jerk.
Mate, that's why you just got to win, and then you can become the Eagles.
Yeah, that's it. And hey, but when you played rugby last year, didn't you like bust a finger and bust your knee?
Yeah, bust the finger. Like my finger sort of hangs out like this now. No, I didn't. My knees were good. I wrecked my shoulder, or I hurt my shoulder at the very first rugby practice. So, and then a few games in, I pulled my hamstring. So I say I played back in New Zealand, but I didn't last very long. Only like 3 games. So.
Yeah, three games deep, and then you're out. And it's heading into that winter season now, right? So, like my boys, they're into soccer, and I've taken up soccer. I'm coaching Leo's team this year again. So I had a year break last year, and Leo's team last year, to be honest, was like just a shit show, right? Like kids who were just having tantrums because they already scored 4 goals, and his brother scored like 6 goals and had a tantrum, or if they had a miss, and they were winning every game because they were a good team, but like Leo just didn't enjoy it, and we wanted him to continue to play soccer, play that team sport. So one of the things that like, and we've talked about parenting and that kind of stuff, and we wanted to provide like that best environment for him. So part of that was like, hey, if he gets to a team, I'll make sure that I'll coach the team, and help put the boys into line and all that kind of stuff. So I'm coaching Leo's team again after a 12-month break. It was nice to have that break, but soccer season starting again. And speaking of sport, like how you're doing rugby, the boys do soccer, but that's all Leo does. He just does soccer because he loves soccer.
Yeah.
Kai does parkour as well, but he's going to take a break from parkour. And so, and you did BJJ for a little while as well, right? And for me growing up, I did karate. I did it like for like 7 years, and I put it to them, hey, why don't we do BJJ or karate or something like that? But they were like, nah. So we were just thinking of maybe like one weekend, like not one weekend, but one afternoon every week, we just go out and to a park and either just do some like sprint training, or just go to the rocks and go to swim off the rocks, or just still keeping active, right? That's really important.
Yeah.
What was your kind of like motivation to get back into rugby?
Well, I realise now, and I guess I knew it, but I didn't know it. Because I know no one at that rugby club. Like didn't know a single soul. So about 3 weeks ago, I knew they trained. I knew they were training on a Tuesday, Thursday, 6:30. So Jade and I and Ezra jumped in the car a few weeks ago and went for a look, and just went down there just to have a look and just to have a chat to someone, and just got chatting to these two guys that were coaches, and they were just really approachable, really nice guys, and just reminded me of being back at home, because this is kind of like a country club, like a lot of country blokes and stuff there. So just felt really comfortable there, and then got chatting to them. There was a bit of like a piss take and a bit of fun and a bit of laughter and stuff. So I realised now, and then after being to a couple of trainings and then meeting a few of the blokes here and having a yarn, like I had a good yarn to a couple of them there. One's a farrier, I forget what the other guy does, but straight away it was just that good old banter and everything. And I recognise now that that's what I want, is the camaraderie and stuff like that. And I recognise now that back in New Zealand, that's why even when I was injured, I just kept going back to rugby practice every week. I kept going every Saturday, or every Saturday I could, because it was the conversations more than the actual playing on the field. And I recognise now that that's something that, as we work at home, we don't get out of home, you stay at home, and it's easy to become a hermit without knowing you've become a hermit, and miss the connection and stuff. And just brought some light to actually how important that really is for us as blokes, especially, and not necessarily just working at home all the time, out on the job site, or out running the business, or in the office, or whatever it is for anyone. And again, not just blokes, maybe you're a stay-at-home dad and mum's out working, but it's important for us to get out of the daily grind, to get out of this is all that I do, and have that connection with others, as well as spending time with the family, like you said, going to the park and going to the water and stuff.
Yeah, 100%, man. Like, where in Australia, there's a station called the ABC, which is the station from the Australian government, and they put a whole heap of like shows, both entertaining and educational. And there's a documentary that Carly and I are currently watching on it, a series about parenting. It's called The Role of a Lifetime. And they mentioned one thing last night, and it's funny you brought it up, hey, about like camaraderie, mateship, banter. And one of the things they said last night was, especially males, they need their social network. They need their tribe. They need to find their tribe. And then more so because, one, when you have that environment and you can be natural, like be yourself, be authentic, then it reduces they showed studies of like, impacting suicide and all that kind of stuff because of isolation. So, you're going to get all those get those good chemicals through you because you're bonding, you're connecting, you're being yourself. But the other thing which I didn't think of, and they mentioned, was that it's really important for your kids to see you interacting in that social environment, because then you can model, that good social behavior that you want them to display as well, especially if you have boys. And Carly's always like, Carly, she loves me, but she was always on my back, like, you need to hang out with your friends, you need to like go, you need to catch up with people, all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, nah, I'm good. Like, I skateboard, I paddleboard, but like, it's just like for yourself, it's just reawaken that light about, I do need to make an effort to catch up with my mates socially, right? Not so much just to catch up, but to be able to continue to be with my tribe,
Yeah.
and that's why we hang out.
I mean, the other thing that I found really good about it is because, like, I'm not just talking coaching or talking about business as well. Like, it's all just like I said, fun, banter. You're not locked in the same conversations all the time. So it's a great way to, and I think that's really important, is to, you got the paddleboard and you got the skateboarding and stuff, but just to have conversation. When you are having conversation, it's not like, how's business, how many clients you've got, what's your next lead gen plan, and all this stuff. Like, it's like, you talk about family, you talk about all the fun, all the fun stuff. So I found that really valuable as well.
Yeah, and it's funny you mentioned that, right? Because and it's probably one thing I've noticed as well. I'm not as active. Like, so me and my high school mates, we still hang out, and we have a fantasy football WhatsApp group, right? And to be honest, it's not so much the fantasy football we do it for, right? It's the we have like a competition, you get paid out and all that kind of stuff, but more so it's the end of season dinner and the mid-season catch up that we look forward to, and the banter. But I've noticed myself that I haven't been probably engaging in that group as much. So I'm going to make it an increased effort just to reawaken my tribe and my social network as well. So that's really important, eh? So and speaking of like catching up, we're going to be all catching up at your wedding soon, man.
It's true. And guess what? We were just doing some stuff last night, and I was like, that's like 4 weeks away.
Yeah. I know, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we're actually off down there on Friday to menu taste, so taste the menu and stuff. So, yeah, man, it's very real. It's a very real thing.
It is a very real thing. We're looking forward to it. We're coming, like, I think soccer is in the morning, and then we're coming down straight after that. We finally got accommodation.
Yeah,
because we've been so busy, and we're like, yeah, we finally got the. We're gonna be staying there, because. Mate, I feel like people are just gonna go crazy because it's Shane, it's the Birds, it's the Andor cock of rock.
cock on a rock.
And that's gonna be like a big thing. But speaking of like working out as well, like what are you doing now for your workouts in the morning?
Yeah, I've been focusing more on flexibility. I think we talked about it a couple of weeks ago, but more just flexibility and stretching and stuff. Because I pulled my hamstring last year, and when I thought about playing rugby, I was like, well, I don't want that to happen again. So just been working more. It's a combination. Like, it's not just flexibility only. It's not just workout. So generally we do the workout when Eric doesn't sleep in. We do a workout once a week there, but and then I do occasionally 1 or 2 times a week as well. I'll work out here, just the calisthenics type stuff that I was doing. But the other days are all just flexibility, working on posture and working on the legs and the hips and the hamstrings and the core. I mean, they're all tied together, but that's the big thing at the moment. So, but on a regular basis, I wouldn't say it's 7 days a week, because that would be lying. So it's more like 6 days a week. Yeah. But still consistently, I do it like as soon as I get up in the morning still, because I know that that's what gets me going, which is why over a year ago I started the calisthenics, because I just found it hard to get going in the morning.
Yeah, 100%. Do you use any weights?
Nah, it's all free weights. Well, when I'm on my own, it's all just body weight stuff. Sorry.
Yeah. And so I think we're just chatting off air. I've started because I was doing some dumbbell training, right? And then I started getting into the kettlebells as well. Which is like because I listen to Joe Rogan, right? And he's like he only does this one workout, right, with his kettlebells. But like before that, he does like the sauna and the cold plunge. Like, yeah, man, I don't have that stuff yet. Eric does, but Eric doesn't really use cold plunge.
It's still in the corner of the garage in the box. Doesn't count.
Yeah. But I've started trying to be more efficient with my workouts, and the kettlebell training has been like, oh man, it's a good workout, because it's a combination of so the reason why it's so powerful and so efficient is because you're not working just one simple muscle at a time. You're working like a whole range of muscles. So that like, and it's all compounds. And then it's one of them is called like a kettlebell helicopter, where you hold the kettlebell above you, and you got to like try to get your elbow to touch your knee, and that's like a flexibility thing.
Yeah,
man, you do that and you just sweat, because it's such an intense like flexibility workout. But doing that, I've noticed like how much, and you probably know this from the calisthenics, because like how much more freeing my body actually moves now. Not so like, and it's like the range of motion is like unbelievable. And I never thought that would be the case just by working out with kettlebells. What have you noticed for your own physique, Mr. Bird?
Well, when I started the calisthenics, I put on like 8 kilograms in like 40 days. And I was like,
muscle, yeah.
Yeah, I hope so.
Cock on the rock.
No, it was my ego getting big. But that was the first thing I noticed. And then because I haven't been consistently doing it, I noticed that I've dropped a few kilos as well. So interesting. I guess that was probably the biggest thing I noticed. But also, the flexibility, the strength and stuff was definitely a noticeable difference. But just the energy, just having a different level of energy was earlier on in the day rather than trying to build up and get into it. That was the big thing I noticed, which was, again, the whole intention of why I did it was to get the motor running in the morning.
Yeah. Is there anything else that you do in your morning routine to help you get your motor running in the morning?
I yawn.
Yeah. hit the snooze button.
Yeah, no, there's one thing I am disciplined at, and that is not hitting the snooze button. And even though this morning I was like, oh man, if I could go back to bed for an hour. If I'd known Eric wasn't coming, maybe I would have. No, I wouldn't have. But what I do is I just get up and I do that, and then I just go straight into clearing those things that are going to play on my mind all day in the business. So clearing messages and clearing notifications on Facebook, because if I know they're there, then they're going to play on my mind during the first call, the second call, and I'll be like, I've got to reply to Dave, Mary, John, and Sue. So I just clear that, get that done, and then any other sort of notifications or admin stuff that I need, that I just want to get off my mind. So the other things I do every morning.
Yeah. And so, like, do you do that before you work out or vice versa?
I do the workout first.
Yeah.
Like I'll just have a glass of water or drink of water and then do the workout straight away, and then have a cup of tea and straight away get on the phone and do all that stuff. And then by then Ezra's sort of waking up or breakfast time, or I'll have a call or whatever, depending on the day.
Yeah, sweet. Because I've tried to implement a couple of best practices from places that I've heard, other experts in the field. So, have you heard of Andrew Huberman?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like a neuroscientist who's just like, his podcast is just like research based. It's just everything he shares is just research based.
Yeah.
And he talks about, like, in the morning, he found some research, or he did some research on, one of the best things you can do in the morning when you wake up is, have a glass of water beside you, but like, get the water and as you drink it, like swish it around your mouth, because overnight, or in your mouth, like all the good bacteria has been building up.
Yeah.
You want to like get that into your digestive system. Right. So
yeah.
I have, like, similar to you, I have a glass of water like when I wake up in the morning. And he says the other good thing that you can do, and it might be tricky when, like, there's daylight saving and stuff, is like get like sunlight in your eyes straight away. Because it says something about like when the sunlight activates some particular neurons in your body and that kind of stuff, to wake it up. And the most important thing he says is, one of the most important things is, if you're going to have coffee, wait till like 90, anywhere between 60 to 90 minutes after you wake up, so that these receptors and stuff can exit your body, right? Because because if you have coffee too soon, it blocks the waking up receptors, right? And so then when later on in the day, when the caffeine's worn off it, that's when you have your crash, which is really interesting. And so that's what I kind of like try to do in the morning. I get up the same time as Carly, between 5 and 5:30. She works out in the treadmill. I come up to the office. I like look out my window, do a bit of work, and then when she's finished, then I go down to the garage and do my workout and whatnot.
Yeah.
And then have a coffee with her. So that's like 90 minutes. Have a coffee with her, and then she goes to work, and then I get the boys ready, for school and whatnot. So that's kind of like my morning routine. It seems to work for us. And then, have you heard of Gary Brecker?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then his other thing for the morning routine is have a cold shower or cold plunge if you can.
Yeah.
So, and a couple of other things. So after my workout, I just have a cold shower, and then let it come up naturally. And man, that definitely does wake you up.
Yep, it sure does. Not that I do it, but I've done cold showers before.
Got to get into it, mate. Got to get into it.
Yeah, so they say. I'm working on it.
Yeah. So like that's kind of like what I do in the morning, and then the rest of the day is the rest of the day, right? And then because you've got little Ezra, um, and we'll probably end on this note. Like, what's kind of like your kind of like play on business and time with Jade and Ezra throughout the day?
What's my, oh, yeah. So I think we speak about this a lot, is like, kids spell love time, TIME.
Yeah.
So but there's time, and I've been guilty of this before, but if I'm playing with him and I'm like this, then I'm not really playing with him if I'm on my phone, right? So just that awareness of doing that. He's kind of hard to play with because he's just so friggin' busy. He's like here, and then he's over there, and then he's down the hallway, and then he's in my office wrecking something, and then he's back over there. But just being present with him is the big thing, and constantly working on that, and just more and more aware of when I have got my phone in my pocket or in my hand, and putting it on the bench or somewhere else rather than in the pocket is something that is really important. And again, very guilty of, even today, of just going, oh, I'll just send that one message, and then there's 2 other messages to check and shit like that. So, but just taking the time, like Jade and I just sat down for 10 minutes before my 2:00 call, and we had half an hour, about 15 minutes. So just sat down and had a yarn, and then she was off doing her thing. She was waiting. She was on edge to do her thing. I was on edge to do my thing. But just to be able to switch off and do that stuff makes a big difference. I mean, we get better at it in the evenings, although we had a fair bit going on in the last few weeks. So Jade's been really busy on some stuff she's working on, and then I've been working on stuff and different trainings we've had and stuff. So, but it is, you can't beat just allocating the time,
Yeah, 100%, 100%, like, and I know, like, for us, we had like some trainings on the weekend, and, Carly was away at my sister's hens, right? So we were fortunate enough to be able to have Carly's parents down on the Saturday, um, but I had to have the boys, from Saturday afternoon onwards, right? So I couldn't be on the training on Sunday, but sometimes, you can't always do everything, and you've just got to do what you can and prioritize what you can. And one thing I've learned is I used to be like, oh man, I really need to do that training, but I can always make time to catch up on it. And yes, it's not the same as watching it live.
Yeah.
But as you said, that time I spent with the boys, like, they really lapped it up. They enjoyed it, and that is, that's worth me having to maybe just stay up a little bit later to catch myself up on those particular trainings and videos, and distill those notes. So it's always about what you prioritize, right, Mr. Bird?
100%, mate. It is always about that. And I guess we never really ask ourselves the question is, what's the consequence or what's the flow and effect of doing this now? And when we start to ask that question, we start to really consider what we are and aren't doing with our time, because time is ticking. Time is literally the only thing that's always going to be moving along like that, and we're going to get rid of it. People, I guess we don't realize there's that thing in the, is it the 5 regrets of the dying? And one of them, number 1 or 2 or something, is I wish I'd done more with the time, I wish I'd spent more time with the family and stuff like that. So many things to think about. That hindsight is a great thing that we just don't think about in the moment.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. Last thing, so like, speaking of time, right? So I got this new app on my computer, and because you can't what's the saying? Something measure what you can't track what you don't measure, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure you know that quote, but on my computer, I've kind of like, there's an app that shows up like my chunk of work time, so it actually counts down like how much time I've got left in the session, right?
Yeah.
And that's a really good thing, because you look up at it every now and then, you go, oh, holy smokes, I've got 60 minutes left in this session. Oh, holy smokes, I've got 2 hours before the boys come home, and there's nothing like that to remind you to get your skates on.
Well, it's interesting, like, when we give ourselves a time limit of what we can achieve. And a real life example is I had a call with a client, and I jumped on and I said, oh yeah, cool, we've got half an hour. What are we working on? They said, half an hour. I thought it was a 1 hour call. And I was like, oh, no, it's a half hour call, because previously we'd done 1 hour calls. And I said, oh, no, it's just half hour call now. What are we going to work on? And then we went through some stuff, and they went, 16 minutes, we're done. And she's like,
Yep.
how did we do that? And I was like, I don't know, how did we do that? But we didn't have this expectation that it was going to take an hour. We shortened the expectation, so we were way more efficient. So now, instead of having an hour consumed, it was only 16 minutes. So basically got 44 minutes back of our life because we were just way more focused rather than screwing around, mucking around. And I guess the reason I share that is where in our life are we screwing around, mucking around, wasting time where we don't need to be? Because everybody goes, I don't have enough time. But at the end of the day, we do have enough time. It's our allocation of time that's the problem. And the countdown, I love the countdown timer. It's super valuable.
Yeah. So 100%. So I've got that up there. But what I also do, mate, I don't know if you probably don't need, because yours like super focused, right? I have like a little kitchen timer on my desk. And so whenever I need to start something, I just like hit start, 45 minutes, done. I know I'm going to smash it out. Buzzer goes off, and then I'm going to give myself like a 5-minute break, or I need to go get the washing in or something like that, right? So it's a really good motivator, or really good tool. I personally use it to help me stay focused and on task.
Yeah. I've done that before as well, actually. I've done that before. Really helpful.
Yeah, definitely. So speaking of time, mate, we are up for this week, but wonder if Mr. High Performance Father, not so high performance this week himself.
Well, I think he's overperforming as a father right now because he's got. I know he had to go and pick up Sophia, so maybe he's the only performing father right now.
yeah. That's it. His father only mode.
Exactly, mate.
So, guys, that's it for this week. If there's anything else that you wish to, you want us to cover, or there's anything that you want us to delve deeper into, just leave comments below, or hit us up, in Spotify and other places where, you can listen to this, and, we'll be back before you know it. DadBods, I can't even say it, mate. You sign out for us, Shane.
I'll do it, mate. I'll do it. But one thing before we go is we just got to remind people to subscribe and follow us, because we capped at 100,000 and there's only limited spots left. So we've got 999,993 spots left.
That's right.
DadBods.